Hello, everyone. Welcome to Eye Opener Society. My name is Gary Dean. I am the founding member of the Eye Opener Society Church. I'm here with our co founder, Lizzie, as well. And welcome to a Thursday night sermon. I've got a lot going on. Lizzie joined just in the nick of time, which I really love. She's sitting in the background right now, and we're going to get this started. We are coming to you right now live on Facebook as well as YouTube, and it's all being recorded. So if you wanted to join us, go to our Facebook page and find the link to our restream, and you can join us on here as well. Wanted to get started here because I've got some fun things to talk about, to try and give this more of a sermon feel because we're three sermons into this, and I think we're starting to do it right, or at least I hope I'm doing it right. Um, I'm just going to make a few changes over here. Okay, just wanted to switch mics here for a second. Okay. All right, so I wanted to start this off today like this. I was thinking yesterday, and this is in my whole meditation state that I was in. I wanted to, you know, try and give people something more metaphysical since this is a metaphysical church. And I was really thinking hard about it, and a couple things had crossed my mind. For one, I was thinking, wow, I really started late in life with this. I really wish I could have started with this a long time ago. Maybe I would be at a much higher level. So I sat with that for a little while. I laid down on my bed. I looked out my window, and I have this view of basically a farm. So it's nice, very picturesque and all. And I'm just looking out the window, and I start to go into into a meditative state. And as I'm looking out the window, that window kind of drew some memories. So I'll give a little backstory. Most of you know or listen to this, and if you couldn't tell from my accent, I'm from the Bronx, New York. I grew up in one of those big Bronx buildings. But the thing was, I grew up living in the basement. My father was a building superintendent, and so the window I had faced a little alley or a yard. And so when I looked out the window, all I seen was a concrete wall. That was it. But I still looked out that window, and I was reminiscing about that. And I said, I always like to be a part of something, have something visual in front of me. I always enjoyed that. And in New York City, there's so much to see. But me, seeing that concrete wall, that's what I stared at. That's all I seen. But then I thought, back in that day, especially in the building, I would go up to the roof, had roof access, and I'd go up on that roof. And man, you could see so far. A 6-story building, and you're looking out over, and you could look down, and you could see everything, and you could feel the pulse of that city right beneath you, 365 view. I was so excited up on that roof because you felt so powerful. And as life goes on, and I moved a lot, and I've started remembering that I looked out of so many different windows, and the scene changed each and every time. But it was no more concrete wall. There was always something that I can look at and see. I wound up in a basement again not too long ago, a few years ago. But even that window had a view of the neighborhood, and I could still see. So where am I going with this? Well, like I said, with the metaphysical, and I was reminiscing, I was sitting here and I was like, kept saying, man, I really, really wish that at some point in my life I would have started earlier with this whole spirituality and would have gotten into it at a much younger age. But then it hit me. With all of those windows that I looked out of, each one of them was a different perspective throughout my life. I was part of the metaphysical each and every time I looked out of one of those windows or on the rooftop or wherever it may be. And every time I look back, and I always teach about the present because the present is what matters. And regardless of my age, it's all wisdom. Even if I'm just starting right now, there's no right or wrong time. Because when I think back to all those different windows and all of those different perspectives, those are timelines that I can go back and remember. I started with nothing, a concrete wall, a blank slate, something that I can start and something that I was able to start envisioning something more. So I go up on that roof. That was a whole nother chapter right there. I was able to see things. And then every time I moved and the scenery kept changing, well, that's the metaphysical right there. Everything can change. It's just a matter of what window that you are looking out of. And to me, that gave me such a good revelation when I was in this meditative state that I said, yeah, I was always connected to this all the time, just at a different space and time. I might not have known it then, but I know it now. And again, now, the present moment, that's all we need to be concerned about. That is what this whole spiritual trip that we are taking is about. So all the things that you're questioning and all the thoughts and all the woulda, coulda, shouldas that you have in your life, think about all the windows you looked out of before in your life. Each and every one of them gave you a different view. And in all that time, those different views brought you here. So what do you see now? What did you take away from all of those other views that you had? That is the absolute present moment that you are in. And that's all it takes sometimes. It's just bringing yourself to this present moment. Because then you can encompass every single thing you have done and every window that you've looked out of and every rooftop you might have looked off of. Maybe you were on top of a mountain at one time and you could see even more than what I was able to see from a rooftop. That is your magical power. That is your gift. We really don't need to use so much complexity because I was also questioning, what do I bring? What is the metaphysical? What can I use? I got to take some credit from Appalachian Rootworks and their podcast, Without a Candle. Without a candle means just that. You don't need a candle. You don't need all of those magical tools. You don't need the crystals and all of that to do what it is that you want when it comes to creating your own magic. All you need is yourself. That is all you need. Everything that you have, it's right here. It's inside of your mind. You can create, and you have been creating your entire life, and never think that you weren't. You've built something up, and that all comes from a source. It all comes through you, and it can bring you right to the place where you want to be, which is right now, the present moment. And we're here as Eye Opener Society to help you, to show you the way, and we're not going to gatekeep. You do it your way. We're just here as a cheerleader. And I learned that from my dear friend Lizzie, who I fell in love with again because I started listening to some of her TikTok stuff just last night. All of a sudden, all of her older stuff started popping up. And it took me right back to when I first met her on TikTok. It brought all of that back. And I said, and that's why we're here. And I don't want to be in any other place right now, but what we have created here and we are sharing with you. So with that, my friends, I would like to bring on to this sermon I'm going to turn the pulpit over to Lizzie, and I'm sure she's going to have some exciting stuff. I'm going to change up the scene here. Let's say, nope, not that one. Let's do this one. That's the one. Lizzie, the pulpit is all yours. I'm just going to sit back, relax, and adjust my camera.
All right, thank you so much. And that was beautiful and very funny for me because we haven't gotten a chance to talk in a few days, and I had no idea what you were going to talk on today, but it was kind of perfectly in line with what I was thinking. Today is actually 1 year since I started posting on TikTok. And it's funny for me because I too went back and looked through my old TikToks just recently. And just the journey that I've gone on with that has kind of just been a mind blowing experience. When I first got on there, I was too nervous to do really anything. I did a voiceover of me spinning in a chair, and I was talking about the nervous system because it was something I was really obsessed with at the moment. And I bounced around and I did all kinds of things, and I didn't actually have the faintest idea why I was on TikTok. I just felt like I needed to do it. And I thought, well, maybe it's for the community, maybe it's for the soul lessons, maybe it's for, and I think it was kind of for all the things. The thing is everything is so interconnected, and we live in such this beautiful world where we can do something like create an online church and meet best friends across the whole world if we want to. But I also have been on this journey where I'm learning very close up on my face. I'm learning very deeply that you have to just kind of show up. This whole journey with TikTok, amongst my many identity crises I went on, I also dealt with the most unbelievable roadblocks in terms of technology and everything. I just got a new phone, and it actually kind of blows my mind the reality change that something so simple as a new phone can give you. I got so used to everything just not working. I just like accepted and learned to flow with all of it. To have to unlock your phone in order to press the down volume button in order to access your phone to turn the volume up. Those couple little steps every time you just want to change the volume of something, it just like it adds to the commenting on people's TikToks, but it takes me like 5 minutes to post a comment because it closes out and stuff. It's like all of these little things that I just learn to flow with because life just does what life does, and you can make the most of every situation and learn from it. And I've done that, but sometimes it's just something so silly as getting a new phone, a little refresh start. Right now I've been connecting a lot with my inner child. I like to circle back to that one, and I'm touching on parts of my inner child I think I've only really known as an adult anyways, while very very drunk when I was first kind of exploring it. And it's funny because I get to this spot where it's like I almost like can't even talk, like I just don't know how to respond. But the thing is everything is all interwoven. The journey that we take, we think it's something so simple like getting on TikTok to build a community or to share the things that we learn. But if we really just let things be what they're going to be, it ends up giving us so much more. I, for a while, the internet would work if I could just be chill. If I could just be chill on my phone or the laptop or whatever, it was fine. And then I was getting to this point where the Wi-Fi wasn't even like an option on my laptop. Like it's not even an option. And I do believe energy plays so much into the way technology operates for us, but sometimes it is needing new stuff. It really really is, but the thing is it's not really about the physical thing either. Sometimes it's just the restart. with everything being interwoven, when we try to touch on one thing, like a belief or a piece of technology, it's so interwoven in our thoughts and in our feelings and everything that sometimes it can kind of be hard to sort everything out and divide it all up. And there's a million meditations to do it all. But with everything's all interwoven, there's just so much to look at. Sometimes what I'm learning from my inner child is it's just really good to just be quiet and just like watch things. Because sometimes when you just watch things, you get to see it play out a lot differently than if you try to narrate it. Which is an interesting one because as a human, I feel like that's like a natural thing to do. Identify, label, narrate, define, build stories. Everything is stories. And that's how they all interconnect. And the thing is when I first got on TikTok, I had such a hard time because I didn't want to waste people's time with talking, and I watched myself completely unravel my ability to hold a singular conversation the way that other people wanted to. Because for me, no matter what we're talking about, there's like 20 subcategories for it all. And throughout my journey on TikTok, I've done varying degrees of just like leaning into the chaos, reining it in, seeing what happens, changing it up, doing all the different things. But really, the only thing that ever works on TikTok is what's making you have fun with it, because there just doesn't seem to really be any sort of real pattern to what works overall for people. So the thing is I think it's just about exploring, and that's really what TikTok has taught me mainly. Is it's exploring, and it's what do you want to explore? There's so much to play in everything that you do, and you don't have to define what it's giving to you. TikTok's done everything from played with my ability to be perceived, my willingness to show my chaos. I've slowly shown every single insecurity I have on TikTok, just casually, because what happens if you don't have anything that's just like sticking on your mind when you want to go say something? Like, do I sound chaotic today? Absolutely. But I almost couldn't even show up. And maybe there was something good for you to hear from this. Maybe this was just for me. Maybe it'll subconsciously give you permission to just show up messy and chaotic and illogical, because sometimes just doing it is a good thing. And anything that breaks the pattern of what you're not liking can at least give you data. And so hopefully you got some sort of wisdom out of this today. And I hope you just have so many blessings throughout this next week. Thank you very much for listening.
Well, I have to say thank you so very much there, Lizzie. It's always a pleasure to hear you. It was a pleasure seeing the old TikTok stuff as well. And, you know, just like I say, it's different windows that we're looking out of. And we're at a new window right now, and it's got such a beautiful view. And that's something that I'm really looking forward to. So I want to thank everybody for joining us. And being that this is our sermon, I do want to make the announcement right now. We have a subscription service on Facebook. If you go onto our Facebook page, Eye Opener Society, you will see, I think at the top, it's subscription hub, $4.99 a month. And what you get is a little glimpse behind the scenes with Lizzie and I. And you might get some stuff from Lizzie. You're going to get some stuff from me, more deeper meditations, some life tips and tricks from me. I've been recording a few. I don't got a whole lot of stuff up there right now, but we are working on it. I'm definitely working on it. And I can't wait for Lizzie to start bringing some stuff in, because she's absolutely amazing. And she might not think so. but she is. She's super, super amazing when it comes to this stuff. She has a way of explaining things that I really look forward to, and I love hearing them. So check us out again on Facebook. Again, if you can't afford it or you're just not interested, that's fine too, because we're still offering everything that we have. And we're going to be putting out so much stuff that's going to be free. But this is a way to help be on the ground floor of the building of this whole church, to get us out there a little bit more. And we're going to be giving you more. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Join us every Thursday night. And don't forget to tune in on Monday morning. We have our regular show. And don't forget about our Wednesday night guided meditations. We hope to see you real soon.